Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price. Today's program brought to you in part by our friends at Cornerstone Recovery and Outskirts Press. I'm going to be talking to the man, Dan, the man, Shed. He is, of course, a regular here on the program and working with the Price of Business, and always delighted to have him on the show. And I'm going to try to get Sigmund to be a part, but he's intimidated by us today for some reason, so he might be rather quiet this segment. And but I'm going to talk to Dan. Dan, what do you got for us today?
Well, Houston workers are joining the national minimum wage protest. There was an article in the Houston Chronicle this morning stating that some people at Jack in the Box are joining the protest in raising the minimum wage from $8 an hour to $15.
Yeah, $15 an hour. Yeah, they think that if a what's the name of that? What's the name of the big Jack in the Box hamburger? You know, there's a big one. What do they call that? Yeah, you don't eat a Jack in the Box, do you?
No.
I'm
a Whataburger fan.
Oh yeah, me too. Whataburger and Mighty Burger. You ever go to Mighty Burger?
No.
Yeah, Mighty Burger is awesome. I love Mighty Burger. But yeah, if you're going to do a hamburger, unless you're going to pay for like a gourmet burger, just do a Whataburger. Just do a Mighty Burger. Don't do synthetic burgers like Jack in the Box. But, you know, what they want to do at Jack in the Box is they want to, not them, these minimum wage advocates, you know, they want to make the current sirloin cheeseburger that probably costs, $2.50 into, something that will cost $6 or $7. Good luck with that, because that's what happens with the minimum wage increase. No answer. Dan is shaking his head in disbelief.
I mean, I'm all for raising the minimum wage just because, I think, for a lot of people, that don't have, a college degree for whatever circumstances, or not just, or for whatever circumstance, they don't have the higher paying job.
Right.
So I think if they can raise the minimum wage, that's awesome.
Right.
Give them money for their hard work.
Did you know that minimum wage almost doubled between 2007 and 2009?
No, I did not realize.
Did you know that
in
that same time frame, unemployment almost, it actually did double during that same time frame? When businesses have a minimum wage increase, that's a fixed cost for doing business. The average business has a profit margin of less than 7%. So whenever government adds any additional cost to that business, they ain't going to make less than 7%, or they might as well get out of business. I mean, that's just, if you're self-interested as a business owner, if you're not going to make at least 7%, you're not going to, and that's the average, it's 7%. So what happens is when minimum wage goes up, prices go up. And what that means is that all those people who enjoyed an increase in their minimum wage, their cost of purchasing goods has gone up probably in excess to what the minimum wage increase is. And in addition to that, their taxes often go up. Not so much theirs, but higher income people who are directly affected. But then there's the direct tax, the works tax of jobs themselves. According to statistics out there, the lowest income individuals see a spike of over 500,000 new unemployed every time minimum wage goes up. 500,000 new unemployed. So the worst tax of all is the tax of your entire job disappearing. Minimum wage doesn't happen in a vacuum. When it happens, it has a series of ripple effects. The problem isn't minimum wage. The problem is the capability of people having the ability of buying power. What they can buy with their dollar. Raising the cost of all goods, which is what minimum wage would do, because labor is a cost of goods, isn't going to help people to get a wage increase if the cost of all those goods have gone up proportionally, which it will. Ultimately, meaning the big beneficiary is the government in higher tax revenue and in bought votes because of the huge unemployment. So minimum wage has never worked. If minimum wage was a good idea, why not make it $40 or $50 an hour?
That'd be awesome, but
why don't they? They don't for the reason why I just explained. Because if minimum wage went up $40 or $50 an hour, there would be massive unemployment. There would be massive closing of businesses. Businesses that would figure out how to keep those people employed would have to raise their prices, which we all have to pay, including the newly minimum wage up to $40 an hour would have to pay, which they would be devastated financially with that and would demand a $60 an hour awesome wage, instead. What they need to do is figure out how to raise productivity, not raise wages. And government raising minimum wage actually hurts productivity. It decreases productivity because it incentivizes business owners to figure out how to get by with fewer employees, which means lower productivity, which means higher costs for those who do have jobs. So it's interesting. It makes me scared, though, what they teach in the classroom, because minimum wage never will work. If it worked, we wouldn't be talking about $8, $10. We'd be talking about $20, $30 if it worked. It doesn't work. It's actually a disaster. It's one of the worst concepts in economics. And historically, I can't find a place anywhere where it hasn't led to an increase in unemployment and in pricing. Best example being what happened between 2007 and 2009, when it went from somewhere around, about $5.60 an hour, $5.70 an hour to a little over $8 an hour. According to my Sigmund, I have my very own Sigmund, this segment is officially over. The look he's giving me. He was never in here. He left. He left me in the middle of a very hot political topic. Shame on you. Yeah. So anyway, and poor Dan's like, he's an idealistic young man. We're gonna breach this topic again. I want Sigmund's opinion on it as well. And so, but thanks, Dan Shedd.
You're welcome.
I look forward to our next topic we're going to have on next week's show on Monday. I'm Kevin Price. This has been The Price of Business.